It's the beginning of May, and Saranda announces the official opening of the tourist season. In a symbolic way, the town throws open its doors to thousands of visitors and holiday makers. About 300,000 people came to Saranda last summer. This number is subject to a rapid increase, because this area at the coast of the Ionian Sea is constantly attracting attention nationally and internationally. But what has to offer Saranda to the holiday makers and visitors? As never before, we are going to show you the natural and cultural treasuries offered by the surrounding of this bay, shaped as a horseshoe. The seascape is dominated from the heights, where is situated the monastery of the 40 Saints that gave its name to the bay and to the town. Maintenance works are carried out here, as well as further researches on the history of this monastery, thought to have been built in the 5th century after Christ. Its subterranean space is an extensive and elaborated crypt, a labyrinth of chambers, vaulted halls, passages, and chapels. The monastery was bombed during World War II. Not much has remained from the original building, but quite enough to understand the magnificence of this basilica that has been an important pilgrimage site for the Christians dwelling along the Adriatic coast and the inner Balkans. Votive inscriptions made in red tile record the names and devotions of a series of individuals. The basilica gave its name to the bay, thus challenging the name Onesimus, mentioned in the 2nd century by Cicero, who, writing about a trip he made from Butrinti to Rome, says that a favorable wind was coming from Onesimus. This is a fragment of the town's entry gate from the harbor. Ancient Onesimus is mentioned by Straboni, Dionysius of Halicarnas, and Ptolemeus. Fragments of the 850 meters encircling wall, part of which disappears under the seawater, can be seen in the premises of this hotel. Decorating the interior, the wall is also well preserved. Further on, we encounter fragments of the wall behind a huge building. The wall dates back to the 5th century, in the period of Roman Emperor Anastasius. In the center of the town, there are the ruins of a synagogue of the 6th century before Christ. It brings evidence of the presence of a Hebrew community in Onesimus. Later on, the synagogue was converted into a Christian basilica. The mosaic belongs to the main prayer hall. The Hebrew University of Jerusalem has sponsored part of the excavations. The entire floor of this small museum building is made of mosaics. This is something common to important buildings of the Roman and Byzantine periods. It brings evidence of the existence of a large number of lavish houses. Apparently, this area has been attractive to wealthy people over the centuries because of its mild climate conditions. The Middle Age period witnesses the dwelling center being transferred on Le Courcy hilltop, with a 360-grade angle view of the sea and the plains from the south, the north, and the east. An old and magnificent castle attracted Ali Pasha in the 18th century. He invested to rebuild the castle and the port downhill, in view of the increasing trade traffic in this area. Today, both of them are parts of the increasing tourist traffic. The castle of Le Courcy is a must for the visitors, not only to obtain historical information, but also to enjoy striking vistas. The small church near the main entry gate of the castle offers fragments of these frescoes of the late Byzantine style. The town's beaches get crowded starting from early May. This is the most recent public beach inaugurated last summer. It is early July, and there are many young people that do not have the time to sit at the beach. These are the students of the University of Saranda that have to take their exams. The university was opened in 2006 with know-how from the Tirana University and the personal initiative of the city mayor. The plans are to double and even triple its capacity in the near future. Saranda is now graduating locally the managers of the businesses connected with the development of tourism, industry, agro-tourism, fishery, land and maritime transportation. The production of watermelon has witnessed a boom recently. The locally grown watermelon is particularly tasty and sweet. Certainly, it's a fruit that won't be missing in the cocktail party organized in the village of Saint Basil on this particular occasion. Today there is the inauguration of the monument erected to honor the Austrian prisoners of the Italian army that lost their lives in forced labor for the construction of the Riviera Road during the First World War. The age-long plane tree of the village, absolute witness of times and events. Now in the era of tourism, the Riviera Road is being turned into a highway. We are to follow this road that brings you to Saranda from the north in order to show some of the unique natural beauties along the Ionian Sea line. First comes the stunning beach of Kakome, with its old monastery bearing the same name. Then there is the sea, or better say, one of its most beautiful portions. Swimming in these waters gives a particular feeling, something connected to the crystals and to the diamonds, that urges you to surrender to the nature. If this northern itinerary begins with the miracle Kakome, it proceeds further with the mysterious virginity of the so-called cave beach. its mystical emptiness is very inviting. This place possesses the magic to advance unprecedented feelings, while the legs move you unconsciously towards the sea. Here, one starts feeling like a poet and becomes able to articulate metaphors sourced out not from the inspired brain, but from the marveled soul. Now is the turn of tens of smaller, secluded sandy niches. There are the lucky ones to find their own niche with a natural jacuzzi. The cave beach, ideal place for swimming, playing, camping out, and even horse riding. A few more kilometers direction north, while the road winds among biblical sceneries. The taste of baked fish brings water into the mouth right at the 1.5-kilometer road deviation that leads to the beach of Bunets. Bunets is a place for families and intimate groups of people. Hilltop-placed villages have narrow streets and stone walls enclosing flourishing house gardens. These comfortable houses are perfect hubs for daily combing the numerous beaches along the road. The day could be enriched with some history by taking a look at the ruins of the ancient dwelling site around the castle of Borshi that dates back to the 3rd century before Christ. There are some hotels in Borshi, as well as many village houses with flourished gardens. Vegetables and fruits grown by the villagers aren't only bioproducts, but they make you feel a bit as a guest in the Eden's garden. Probably here is the place where a simple photo of a still nature rivals with any painting in regard to the dance of the colors. The frequent and wonderful change of the colors of the sea in the beach of Borshi are a result of the unique way the Mediterranean sun shines on the area for around 300 days a year. With crystal clear drinking waters and plenty of olive tree shadows, Borshi is the ideal place for camping out very close to the sea. Now it's time to drive back to Saranda, tuned to the polyphonic folk song.
Reghe buză mi-altă, tumbi era de gător.
The town, with its lavish beaches, is a useful station for those people who come to Saranda bringing along their sailing equipment. Sailing along the coastline, unprecedented vistas are unfolded, most of them worth of making award-winning postcards.